Welcome to the channel. I'm Stacy, and my goal here is to help you to play better and sound better in your worship services. Today we're in episode 2 of a 3-part series where we're building a Sunday ready preset using a clean amp. We did that in episode 1. Today we're going to be adding our overdrives, and then in episode 3 we're going to be adding our ambient effects. Before we get into that, as I was processing that last video, the clean wasn't quite as sparkly as I was hoping to be, so I just want to make a couple of quick adjustments. There's a few areas that we can tweak just to give it a little bit more top end. So let's do that real quick. So come into the amp, the treble, kind of let it thin out a little bit, got a little bit brittle, and then the depth down here, if we were at 0, it was pretty thin. I don't really want it thin. So let's see if we just bump that treble, what that does. It's a little bit too thin. We'll see what happens if we move our depth. That's not too bad. So we're at 6.5. That was at about 4. Let's try that at 5. It still sounds full, and let's just bump that presence up maybe and see if that kind of gives us that top end. All right, I think that's good. When we push it with the overdrive, we'll be able to get things a little bit clearer. And then once we add our delay and reverb, we can add a little bit of shimmer to the top end of that. A lot of overdrives are designed to go into an already overdriven amp. So I did a little bit of research to see what people recommend for using an overdrive with the clean amp. And it really just covers the whole spectrum. You got tube screamers, blues breakers, clones, ODR-1, even the Rat was suggested for some. So what I'm going to do is just run through the options that we have and just see if any of them kind of like lend themselves well to what the amp is already doing. So I'll just select it, use the default settings, just strum a chord and see how I feel. These ones down here get into fuzz, and I have tried that legendary drive. I don't know if that's going to work once we add our ambient effects. It's a little bit buzzy there as well. All right, so running through these, I thought the prize drive seemed like it might fit well. I like the hedgehog. No, I like the pillars. It is cutting off some low end, but that's what tube screamers do. So that might be a consideration for our lead tone. Let's see the prize drive. That's pretty good. That it adds a little bit of something without kind of taking away the whole fullness of what we have with our amp. All right, that might be a contender, so we'll leave that and then come on over here. Try another one. So coming up, we hit the prize drive. Although now that we have the prize drive, we do lose a little bit of DSP. There's a few options that don't come in, so that might not be one that we want to keep, because once we add our ambient effects, those will be stereo and they'll take up more of our DSP. Let's see here. I want something on this spot that will be clean if you pick light, and this drive just may not quite work for that. Let's try the valve driver. There's something I'm not liking about that one. Let's move on. Let's try the compulsive drive. Nope, we want something that's going to be cleaner at the lower volumes. Heir apparent. I do like that ODR-1. Let's try one more. Let's see, we got the Teemah right here. Just bring the gain down. I like how this sounds like that amp is at the edge of breakup, more so than the other two. All right, I like that one. I think what we'll do is we'll save that. And then the prize drive is going to be out. We'll move these over. I'm just scooting these things over because we will be adding a delay and then either modifying our double tank or adding a different reverb when we do our ambient effects. All right, now we're going to add our lead boost, and then possibly something we could even adjust a little bit to give us a couple of stages of gain. We'll come back to this one. Let's see. On this one, we can have our gain and or our level set up on a foot switch or a snapshot to give us that option where we have a couple of different tones with these two stacked. So just real quick, let's see how this sounds again. Got a little bit more volume bump than I want. That's better. I'm going to put these on foot switches and nope, let's see. We'll do that in the next one. Let's see how this, real quick. The modes. I like that mode 3 a little bit better, actually. Let's see. It's a little quieter than the other two, so we did have to bump the level, but it has a little bit of a richness that the other two didn't have. These overdrives sound great going into the amp by themselves, and they also sound great stacked. What's your go-to overdrive setup? Let us know in the comments. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, subscribe and hit that like button for good measure. I'll have the links to the other 2 videos in this series in the description box below. There are a handful of downloads free for you in there as well. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one.